This is where you're just going to have to go with what you've got. Um, one of the Another one of the biggest things that you're going to find you'll need in any kind of a survival situation is ways of building things or putting things together or keeping them together or whatever. Um, you're going to need cordage. You're going to need uh, just all kinds of miscellaneous stuff. So in 1 gallon zipper bag, I've got just uh, paper, just miscellaneous paper for whatever might need. I've got zip ties. I've got little things of super glue. I've got duct tape. I've got um, small gauge. This is actually wire, solid core wire. I've got just yarn, cotton twine I get from the dollar store. There's paracord in here. There's just a little bit of a rope, some Velcro, just anything you can get your hands on that will fit into this bag. Take it, because you never know when you're going to need something. Um, and again, I'm going to drill this into everybody's head. It's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. These types of things you're going to need just to get you out of the elements. If it's cold, you're going to need shelter. Obviously, you're going to have to work on just staying out of the cold, even if you are only out for 24, 48, 72 hours, whatever it may be. You need to make sure that you don't fall below freezing temperatures, because you definitely don't want hypothermia setting in. And shock situations, if you're in a traumatic incident, and if you're out there, I'm sure that you're going to consider that a traumatic incident. Your body and mind can literally just want to shut down. They call it shock. And one of the main things that you need to do in a situation like that is just keep your body temperature normalized. You want to stay as calm as you possibly can. Hopefully you have somebody with you to make sure that you're not overlooking any of the things that your brain's not wanting to comprehend. But if you are stuck out there by yourself, you definitely just need to be able to grab something and take care of each one of the little things that you can. One of the first things you should grab always is just one of these little Mylar rescue blankets. There's nothing special about these things. They basically just, like a Mylar balloon. It's the exact same material, only it's a big blanket that you wrap around you. And it'll keep the heat in. It'll keep the cold out. It's really fantastic stuff. And you can get, I think I picked up a pack of these online, a 10-pack for like $13 or something. It's really, really inexpensive and really invaluable to have if you're in a situation like that. Another thing that I always keep, and I found these at the dollar store, 4x6 little tarps. They're really nothing. They're not fancy. They're not the big expensive kind of tarps, that you have to go to the big stores and buy. They're just plain simple little tarps. But I'll tell you what, they will keep you out of the elements. They'll keep the rain off you. They'll keep the snow off of you. They'll block whatever wind might be bearing down on you. You just get a few of these little things. I mean, they don't take up any room at all. They're super light. You slip them into the very back of the backpack, and it actually gives a little bit more rigidity to the backpack itself. It's a fantastic thing to have in your bug out bag. Now, obviously, this is what everybody thinks of when they think of a bug out bag or an emergency situation. You need a little first aid kit. You can go to the store, your big box stores, whatever, and buy a first aid kit already put together, already packaged, everything's great. That's a fantastic way to go. Um, we really just refer to these as boo-boo kits because that's really what they are. You get poison ivy, you get scratch stuff, you get minor cuts and abrasions and that sort of thing. You just need all this stuff that comes in one of these boo-boo packs. I went ahead and just put one together myself because I had a bunch of stuff laying around while I go out and rebuy it. And I took it out of the big packaging and just tried to keep it down as minimal as possible. But as you can see, I got another thing of tissue paper because that just comes in handy. Whatever, you are going to have to. You are going to have to do your business in the woods, and instead of carrying a big roll of toilet paper, you can use a little bit of tissue paper, and it comes in handy for bandages and just fire starter and all kinds of things. So keep some of that. I keep different kinds of paper in a bunch of my different little Ziploc bags because you never know which one I'm going to grab first, whatever. So tissue paper, I've got some masks, dust masks. They're not going to keep any harmful pathogens or anything like that out, but they will keep out heavy dust and whatever else it may be. So they don't take up much room, put them in there. I got a bunch of Band-Aids, different size Band-Aids in here. Just, whatever you can gather. Moist towels. I've got, of course, a big ace bandage in case you have to splint something or just tie something up. And, some hygiene stuff. There's cotton swabs. There's chapstick. There's dental floss. Tooth care solution. This stuff, don't want to use it all the time, of course, but it's good for if you don't have your toothbrush with you or whatever, just to keep the bacteria and stuff out of your mouth. Rinse and repeat. Some acetaminophen. Recommend carrying, some kind of pain relievers, whatever, for whatever situation might come up. So put yourself together a simple boo-boo kit, and whatever you can fit in one of these bags. You don't want to overload it because some of this stuff can actually get kind of heavy. You don't want to do that, but carry enough that you can take care of whatever boo-boos happen along the trail. On that note, I highly suggest you get a trauma kit. There's nothing in here for basic little boo-boos. This is for serious injuries. Get a tourniquet. There are so many different types of tourniquets available. I can't even begin to go through all of them, but do a little research. Get two. It's always a good idea, to have one for yourself and one for somebody else. This one that I got in here, just a SWAT tourniquet. Basically, it's a big rubber band. It's like a half an inner tube kind of thing, but it's sticky. So you pull it as tight as you possibly can, and it sticks to itself. Real super easy to use. You don't have to know what you're doing, really. You just wrap, as high as you can up on the appendage. If it's your arm, go all the way up to your armpit. If it's your leg, go all the way up into the groin area. Tie it as tight as you possibly can and leave it until you get emergency medical help. That kind of goes against what they used to teach us, but that's what they're teaching now. So get tourniquets. This is what's called a trauma pack. This is actually pretty neat. Everybody is trying to go this route now. This pack actually comes with a bunch of stuff in it, but the main thing that they're pushing is this stuff called Quick Clot, and it's does exactly what it says. It makes major wounds clot a lot faster. So you apply the quick clot, you cover it with whatever you have available, uh, and it's going to stop the bleeding a lot more than just tying it off. Or if you don't need a tourniquet, it's going to help clot. So this thing's got quick clot, trauma pads, gloves. It's got some duct tape, it's got bandages, gauze, just about everything that you need for a basic trauma kit right here, except for a tourniquet. So I suggest finding some sort of a trauma pack with this quick clot stuff. And again, they're not sponsors of mine or anything like that. It's just I recommend it. So get something like that put together, just a basic trauma kit. You know, keep one of your Mylar blankets in there. Make sure you have a pen, piece of paper to write down. You know, when you put the tourniquet on. Just try to keep track of all the information that you possibly can as you're going along, and it's going to be very beneficial to whoever is needing your assistance. So make a boo-boo kit, make a trauma kit. Need to expand on this a little bit. Um, Aside from MREs or you know the bags of dry beans and rice or whatever else you might have to put in your bag, put something that's going to give you immediate energy. You know, protein stuff, these little Fiber One protein bars, or just cereal bars, crunchy granola bars. Just put a bunch of those in there because they will, in worst case scenario, sustain you for the 72 hours or whatever you are packing for. And you will need some sort of protein when you're out there. You're not going to go, without food and water in a life or death situation like this, because you're just, I mean, some of you probably could, obviously, but me, for one, I'm going to need to sit down and eat and drink something. So find whatever you can. I like these just because they're small, they're flat, they're full of protein, and it's easy to carry. They keep for a very long time. So that's just my recommendation for little somethings to eat. My mouse is